Yeah. Holocrons glow, wisdom of the old school. Sith lords rise, playing by no rule. Mandalores mask, war drums they pound. Jedi lost in shadows, no peace to be found. A more civilized age, where legends were born. Sabers clashing bright through the galactic storm. From the core to the rim, where the tales engage. In the echoes of time, a more civilized age. Thrawn's blue skin, mind sharper than blades. Art deciphered, spotted G's invade. Mara Jade with a vengeance so cold. Turned from the Emperor, her own past she strong. A more civilized age, where legends were born. Sabers clashing bright through the galactic storm. From the core to the rim, where the tales engage. In the echoes of time, a more civilized age. Rakatan ruins, tech older than dreams. Force flows deep in the galaxy streams. Lost tribes rise, the Sith reclaim their might. The balance wavers in the endless fight. Yushan Vong, invaders from the void. Biotech horrors, whole worlds destroyed. Anakin Solo, a hero to the grave. Sacrificed it all, the galaxy he'd save. Yeah. A more civilized age, where legends were born. Sabers clashing bright through the galactic storm. From the core to the rim, where the tales engage. In the echoes of time, a more civilized age.
All right, there we go. Oh, that's the wrong viewing there. Oh, no, look at that. Look at that. I still can't get it right.
There we go. You know, maybe we've only been doing this show 5 years, Matt. Maybe eventually we'll get this whole streaming thing figured out.
Eventually we will. Welcome to A More Civilized Age. I'm Matt. This is Ryan. Geeks Addict, we're going to give up on him. I don't know. He didn't even respond back. And to think, for a while, he was solid.
He only shows up, hold on, for like 3 weeks he was here, or 3 months he was here. He only shows up for the in-person thing. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about this YouTube thing anymore.
He cares about the Now, Meg does have a show going on. She has practice going on.
You know who's always here? Scott. Scott's always here.
Scott's always here. Scott, thank you for always being here. We're going to replace him with Matthew with him, I guess. Scott's always here. And we did a special guest that I invited last night on his stream, though he did tell me he had to work, was good old Lethal Lightning. So
oh, nice. It's been a while since I talked to Lethal.
It would have been nice. I was talking to him last night, and he said he'd love to be here. He does have work, but I sent him the invite anyway. Because
it's also probably it's probably middle of the day for him as well. So,
yeah, but this is when he usually does his streams, sometimes on Thursdays at this time. But not I think every other week he does one. But sometimes we clash together and sometimes he's on his own. But I saw he was off and wanted to come over, but he had to work, he said. So wouldn't be able to. But we got a lot of good topics, end of the year topics here. So going to run down a lot of these things. We're going to talk about Ryan's Christmas plans and his New Year's resolutions.
Oh, are we?
Are we? Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. But first off, if you don't know, if you blink and you missed it, Heart of the Jedi, well, messed that one up too. Heart of the Jedi was actually for sale on Amazon again for a very brief time. Scott can check me in the comments, but I believe, Scott, it was for the rough part of a week, maybe 5-6 days, I believe it lasted. And, you could have scored a paperback copy for a short time. And Amazon did take it off a lot faster this time. If it's not selling like hotcakes, they're going to cut it quick. But that time it was like, what, number 3, number 5 on their top sellers list, they let it go.
That first Heart of the Jedi run was pretty crazy. And obviously, like so many of us, look, we were using it as a way to show what the demand for the Star Wars Expanded Universe was. And when you have these like newly released High Republic books and Disney era books, or whenever the time frame was, I kind of forget. It's been so long at this point. And you have this unpublished, unauthorized, but I mean, authorized, but unauthorized, never before seen expanded universe book. It sells like crazy. I mean, I just from like my videos, and I put an Amazon link in there in my videos, So there was like 300 or 400 copies sold just on people that watched my video and clicked on a link, let alone whatever the number of other people that you didn't click on that link and just looked it up after my video. Who knows?
Yeah, hundreds more. The thing, if I remember right, Dylan told me it got up to number 5 at one time. It was in the top 10. It slowly cracked the top 10 and then kind of dipped back down out of the top. It was in the top 20 forever, but best-selling book. And that should just show that a book, I remember your video too, that a book, unpublished old canon novel, was outselling anything that Disney was making. The new canon, I should say, was making.
And it's not like it was like the next part of a story. It was like smack dab in the middle of a bunch of stuff that we already know what happened. Like, yeah.
Here's the thing. We'd be talking about this book like we'd be talking about the Cestus Deception or something.
Yes,
this wasn't like a, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. It's like a New Rebellion or something, you know, decent book, fine, but no one ever talks about it. But because
it's not like Sword of the Jedi just suddenly got dropped or something, right? Like,
yeah. So, so Scott said we called it a little late. He thinks it was up for a couple weeks, but it was there. So someone brought it out again. Now to date, there's been 3 runs. One had a hardback. I got a hardback. The rest of them, I think, have been paperbacks, even though I can't remember if the second run had a paperback too. I think it was just hardback. I think it was just paperback. But I have a hardback edition, and I bought the first time it came out. I had a hardback and a paperback. And Joe Bongiorno reached out to me and said, "Hey, Kenneth C. Flint, the author, didn't get a book in time. The book went off the." He said, "Do you have an extra?" I said, "Yeah, I'll give it. I'll give the author."
You got hardcover?
Yeah, the first time it ever came out on print illegally, it was hardcover, and I bought it. And see, there goes his mic. He's just so disgusted.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
The Amazon listing that happened back in the day, that was paperback. And I remember I bought a couple, and I did a giveaway and sent one out to some people and stuff like that. But yeah, I bought a couple paperbacks.
Yeah, I believe we gave some away during one of our. I need Dylan here. I believe we got a few and gave a few away during one of our live streams, if I recall. But either way, though, yeah, it was up there for a good bit, and that's when it ran up the numbers. But before that, there was a very, very short run. It went up one day, and I think if you didn't order it that first day, it was gone because people trying to order the second day got their orders canceled, or you had to order. There's a very short window. But I immediately bought it on hardback and then said, I'll get a paperback too, just in case. And so I bought one of each. I'm so glad I did because, some people saying they got 2 copies of it too. Yeah. So yeah, it was a big deal. So it popped up again for a short time. These things are selling for a lot on eBay, the little bootleg ones. But who knows? Maybe once again, someone will put it back up on Amazon. Just listen to your, your Discords or Facebook groups or whatever, folks. And I'm sure they'll spread the news of the next time it comes around. But it's just amazing how this book still has a following. And I'm not bashing the book at all, but it ain't the best. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad book.
It just kind of like an average Bantamera book, like, you know what I mean?
It was. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it just wasn't super. But because of its significance, it was never published. I mean, can you imagine if Escape from Dagu? That's got to be a boring. It's a Shock T Clone Wars novel, and it would sell like hotcakes. It'd be in a top 10 seller if it was to come out. And that's crazy. That's crazy. And I wish someone would do that. And William C. Ditz, as far as I know, he does have a copy of it, but he won't give it out because he did actually sell it. He sold the book. He got paid in full. And so he feels like that's not his book to give out for free. I get that. He's an author. You don't piss off your publishers. You play nice. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. But he's a nice guy too. So I stopped hounding him for it. But maybe someday, Escape from Dagu will come out. There's big news that everyone's been talking about. We're going to talk about it here. Star Wars Insider is going to go digital, I think, now. They're going to stop publishing issues. In my honest opinion, folks, this is all of magazines. I mean, magazines as an industry is dying. And you could say,
hold on. It's not dying. It's dead, Matt. It's
dead.
Look, look, this is a combination specifically of the medium, which is magazines,
Yeah.
and the lack of interest in Star Wars in
Exactly.
general. This is the multifaceted, right? It's not just that magazines are dead.
Yeah.
It's that magazines are dead, and you no longer have people that are as hardcore about this stuff anymore. That's just the truth. And the people that were hardcore about this, the people that were Star Wars Insider subscribers that were looking for that stuff all the time, that were looking to catch one glimpse, one paragraph, one something of like revealing something about something you're interested in, you told all those people to go screw themselves 11 years ago.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
And that's true. You pissed away the hardcore fans who were buying this for the short story that was in it, like me, like the moment. Like Blade Squadron Part 1 came out, and then by the time Part 2 came out, they said, hey, this is new canon. All right, I went ahead and finished Blade Squadron Part 2 because the first half was the old canon. It's a very forgettable story. But then after that, I said, okay, no more. And I remember the next Insider that came in, I didn't even open it. I chucked it in the trash. That was my first step because I was the biggest Star Wars fan. But I thought, am I really going to not read the new canon? And when that first issue came in, remember that was the first time, and I was like, no, I'm not interested in the story. And without even looking, I trashed it. And then when the book by John Jackson Miller came out, I was the first one to get a book, a Star Wars book, the first one. And it came out, I didn't care. And I said, okay, I know I can avoid watching that movie now. Because I was wondering, will I be able to just stop cold turkey on something I've loved so much? And sure enough, I did. But that Star Wars Insider was the first one.
It's funny because I picked up those couple copies of the first few Star Wars Insiders when we were in Dallas. Remember when we were going around?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot you did.
I don't have them out right now. I put them away somewhere. But yeah, the first 4 or 5 issues of Star Wars Insider I got for, a steal, like $2 a piece or whatever at when we were at the used bookstore in Dallas.
I remember
we didn't even know it was about to be defunct.
We got some great, there were some great finds there and those half price books there. Lots of good ones. Here we go. Got a super chat here. Just finished reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm kidding. Is this Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Trilogy for the first time. And now reading The Children of Hurin. Tolkien is incredible. I'm glad you like Tolkien. I love Tolkien too. You read it for the first time. That's awesome. Did you read The Hobbit? I'm assuming you read The Hobbit too. Yeah, I love those books. Did you watch Rings of Power? Don't. Okay.
Did you watch it?
No. The moment they said based off the creation of whatever, I was like, out. I'm so done. And it's so funny because there's this a lot of Tolkien, they're deep Tolkien fans. They don't of course, they think Rings of Power is awful. But there's a guy who worked with Christopher Tolkien, and he was coming out with a book. He translated some articles that J.R. Tolkien had wrote for a French magazine and was going to share those ideas. And it had new information about Middle Earth in it. And he was pitching the book last year. And they said, ooh. And then the interviewer said, are you excited about Rings of Power? Maybe it's 3 years ago. And you saw the guy just drop his head like this guy just asked the dumbest question in the world to him. You could tell it just tore it. He's like, no. He went, are you excited? He went, not really. I mean, he went from excited to just like, oh, I see. You're an idiot. Never mind. And he's like, oh, so you're not excited? He's like, not in the least. And it was like change the subject. I'm talking about the real Lord of the Rings. Please stop mentioning that a blasphemy. And when I saw his expression and I saw his demeanor just change, he is disgusted. The Rings of Power hadn't even come out yet. He was disgusted with the idea that this guy would even ask if he wanted to watch Rings of Power. I bought his book.
It's like, it's so funny going back to that first season and all the hype and the fake fans that they had doing those YouTube videos and everything.
Oh, yeah. That's totally, all the people, we love it. And it's going to show us a world we've never seen before, a more diverse world than ever. But I'm gone. But when they said based off the world of, I was like, done. I'm out. It's like, here's the thing, and I'm kind of, and thank you, Boyle, for this super chat. But we were, I've always wanted to see Harry Potter as a TV series.
Oh yeah.
But these days, obviously, I'm not excited for this. And here's the sad thing. I still want it to be good. But besides the casting, okay, let's get the casting out of the way. I have no faith in the creators of this show to do the right thing and be faithful to the novels. I have zero faith. And I hate being that way. When the movies were coming out, I went, this is great, but it should have been a TV show. I've said that since day one. And when I finally get the TV show, I don't want it. I don't want any. Hooray for the owners of Back to the Future, who own the rights, which is why there's no sequels. And they said, no sequels as long as we live. And we hope our kids think the same way. Good for you. Good for you. Because they were going to ruin it. Whatever reboot, whatever new idea.
Yeah, they'll do a reboot at some point and Marty will be trans and black or something. And it's like Doc Brown will be a lesbian.
It's going to be terrible. It's going to just destroy. I have no faith in Hollywood to recreate. Cobra Kai and Top Gun Maverick were so rare. Those are so rare moments. Such rare moments. You have to have, those are people who really cared about storytelling. It basically points to storytelling. Put as many people as you want. You got to get the story. You got to get the character. Is it someone we can connect with? You know, that's all it's got to be. It's all it's got to be. But I generally do not want to see a single reboot, a single remake, or anything related to my legacy movies or whatnot. I mean, at this point, Kathleen King is like, should we remake Howard the Duck? Oh no, it was already sucky. So no, we can't do that. I mean, what IP have they not destroyed?
The thing with Harry Potter that's so disappointing is like all the talk has been about, 8 hours for the season, fitting all this stuff that was missing from the books into it, exactly what fans want. And then you come out with the cast scene and Snape's black. It's like, if it's so easy, it's so easy. It's so basic. You didn't need to do this. You didn't have to do this, but you did it. So now, even if you're telling us the truth about everything else, you've lost any goodwill for people.
But see, and you said this in videos. Here's the thing about making him black. It's symbolic because what do all the kids do with Snape? They pick on him, make fun of him. So now you have this, race issue that you're making it out of. And that's just wrong. That's not what J.K. Rowling intended upon it. That's not how Snape is described. You've said that several times. And by the way, this is any Harry Potter fan.
That's the thing about Harry. This is a Star Wars stream. I don't even know what we're talking about. But the thing about Harry Potter is that there is no like bigotry in Harry Potter that's not related to the magical world, right? Muggles versus wizards, Muggleborns versus wizards versus purebloods, humans versus giants or centaurs or whatever, right?
Yeah,
house elves. It's all completely like it's all these like allegories that aren't representative of the real world. Now you can attach it to anything you want. You can attach it to like racism if you want. You can attach it to historical things that have happened, but it's not intended to necessarily represent that. It's supposed to be this catch-all just about discrimination in general, which those are timeless stories.
Yeah,
right?
Mutants and X-Men.
Things like that.
Yeah, mutants and X-Men and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, we got off topic because of that super chat. So thank you. You win. You got us off topic. Good for you. But let me tell you this, folks. To be honest, let's say George still controls Lucasfilm. Star Wars Insider just still pumping out short stories. Insider, in my opinion, doesn't go much longer than this. I think the trajectory of the magazine was going downhill. Yes, maybe it would have survived another year. Maybe. Because hardcore fans would have bought it. However, I just see an end to this as magazines. And yes, the IP of Star Wars has been hit hugely. But if they didn't destroy Star Wars, if they kept the expanded universe around, the short stories going, we could have seen maybe a year or two more of Star Wars Insider. But the days of magazines are kind of going too. Hold on, I got into the super chat here. So I have so many old insiders from my dad up to 2010. That's awesome. And look at you, Sammy.
That's really cool.
Look at you now. I think you're familiar with this fellow in the picture there. Where'd you meet him? Anyway, so thank you, Sammy, for that. But yeah, so for me, Star Wars Insider, the clock's ticking on magazines in general. Sure, the IP's been damaged. Sure, the hardcore fan is out too. That is obviously what hurt it. But I don't see that magazine lasting another year or so, even without the IP being damaged, just because magazines in general are dead. But anyway, yeah, sad, because I always loved getting a copy of the Star Wars Insider. I hardly ever read the articles, though some were good. I only bought it because it had a short story. Not that any of the short stories were ground shaking. A lot of times it was a treat to have like a little prequel chapter to an upcoming book by an author, or an extra adventure added on to a recent novel they wrote, or a lost chapter, which is what someone did. They took out one of their cut chapters, I think Aaron Austin did, and put it into Star Wars Insider. So it's a nice little outlet to get creative on some short stories. You love them or hate them. But this Star Wars Insider was good.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment in general that I do think it's a combination of lack of interest and just the way all magazines are going now. But certainly its days were numbered anyway, regardless of whatever state Star Wars is in right now.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said, if Star Wars didn't ruin themselves, didn't cut out the hardcore fan, the Insider goes maybe another year or so, but magazines in general are just fading out. It's like newspapers these days. We're doing a play right now that requires someone to hold a newspaper, and for the life of me, no one can find a newspaper in our small town. I know they still make them, but no one knows where they sell them, and it's kind of comical. I think there's one at Walmart maybe, but no one's checked, and no one says they're there. So no one's had a newspaper in years. I don't know who has a subscription to a newspaper anymore. And by the way, 15 years ago, your parents all had newspapers. It was still kind of relative back then.
A lot of specifically kind of smaller town newspapers over the past decade plus, really, because of the lack of demand.
Right up.
A lot of people have shifted. They started shifting to, well, it only gets delivered 3 days a week, or, you get like a Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday edition and things like that, to the point where so many are just kind of going under at this point, just switching to all digital local news.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So on to the next topic, folks. I did a rewatch earlier this year, wrapped it up, but I wanted to give a general discussion so we talked about the Clone Wars cartoons earlier. And I want to also talk about Ewoks and Droids cartoons. Now, my question is, and people know this from watching Rewatch, I never saw Droids growing up. I knew it existed because there were toys in my store. There was 3POs, I think, which had something about the cartoon in it once. Mm-hmm. And we couldn't, because TV was regional for the longest. It wasn't just standard. Each region got their own cartoons. Different areas got different cartoons. You grew up watching different things. And I grew up in Mississippi, and my buddy was trying to collect all these old cartoons. And I gave him a whole list of like 23 cartoons he had never heard about. He went, "Well, how did you know about all this?" I went, "That's what played in Mississippi." I mean, so it's just weird. So Droids did not play in Mississippi, and I wish I would have. I would have loved it. But Ewoks did. But they moved the second season to Sunday mornings. And Sunday mornings down south, you went to church in the 80s. And that was really not the biggest day. If you got bumped to Sundays, that meant they were just fluffing it for the football. It's just something for the kids to watch while you were getting prepared to football. It wasn't really, Sunday morning cartoons weren't really that serious. So for some reason, Droids got bumped on ABC. And I didn't get to watch much of the second season. But I watched Ewoks a lot. Of course, part of the reason I have such a good memory about Ewoks happens to be from the cartoon. I love the cartoon. I don't think I didn't get any of their toys because I thought the toys looked too awful. I like the regular Ewoks from Return of the Jedi Kenner line, so we would keep buying a bunch of those, but we still enjoyed the cartoon. And as for Droids, I didn't watch that till years later when you could buy the burned DVDs or burned CDs. I think they were called VCDs. You'd pop them in your CD-ROM on your laptop. And then I watched the whole series then and enjoyed it because Anthony Daniels came back to reprise his role as C-3PO. And there's a lot of EU that is in droids that was later found in the prequels. And that's because George Lucas opened up his sketchbook, his notes to them. And the wheelie bike that Grievous drives is actually first featured in droids. The moons of Bogdan are mentioned first in the droids cartoon. And it's not called pod racing, but speeder racing is a thing as well. So but this is all from George's journal, and it popped up first in droids. And Kenner even made a toy for their regular line that came from the droids cartoon line only because it was artwork that was a concept for something for Jabba's sail barge, like a mini skiff. So droids has a go ahead.
It's so funny because I didn't watch these when I was growing up, right? I never got to see them on TV, anything like that. I've watched a handful of episodes here and there every once in a while. In fact, at one point in time, I went to the public library to get like a couple books, and we'd always check out the VHS section there, like the movie section there. And every once in a while, we get something. And I found, I think it was the droid. I found the droids thing, and it was only like 2 episodes or something on there. So it was like kind of disappointing, but like I do remember renting it when I was really young at the library. I never had any attachment to them or anything like that. And now in retrospect, whenever I see clips, they do look just like goofy as hell. But I really wish that I had memories watching them like as a kid. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like you said, it really just depended on where you were and when your parents let you watch things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And to your point there, that VHS that had like 2 episodes each, they did a Ewoks 1 too. And I was like, why didn't they put the rest of them out? I don't know what they were doing, just putting some samplers out there to test the market. And then later on, of course, now it's streamed, or it was streaming on Disney Plus for a little while, but more common to find. I think you can find episodes on YouTube and stuff like that. Another super chat here. Hey, Matt, hope you're doing good. Hail Rai Shiitake. Hope I'm saying that right.
Thanks, Decrepit. Yeah, it's pronounced shiitake.
There you go. So there you go. Thank you for that. But so I didn't get any of the action figures for it because I thought they were kind of goofy looking. And seeing concept art of droids back in the day as a kid, I was really hoping that would come out in my town. But droids only went 1 season, where Ewoks went 2. And I like the Ewoks theme song in the first one better. Now, of course, I have these. I've rewatched them. I told you I enjoyed them. I made my smartest connection, I think, was between the Ewok cartoon and one of the Ewok movies that I think I was very proud of my own little retcon. I don't think I've shared that with Joe yet, and maybe I should. I think he would approve because it was I thought it was an ingenious retcon. But I was just watching the cartoon and going, hey, that explains this. So making my own connections, getting better at it. Droids and Ewoks were super fun. I don't know if anyone else in the chat here ever watched them, but to me, they were throwbacks to the 80s. In fact, the Droids theme song is a little 80s jingle that, we're in trouble again. Dun, 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 trouble again. I mean, and that, I love that jingle. I love that little jingle for the Droids intro. And so when I watched that for the first time, I was probably in college or after college when I finally got a copy of that. And I was like, that's a cool intro. I still think it's a cool intro. And I like how it says R2-D2 playing himself. That's funny because all it is just words, but it just beeps and whistles and whatnot. But they're fun. Are they worth watching? Probably not. To the average fan, even EU fan, maybe not. Maybe you'll enjoy them. But to be honest, they're dated. They're just older cartoons.
They're really dated. They're obviously for really young kids.
Yeah, it's for super young kids. And Joe Bongiorno, in his book, Supernatural Encounters, all the goofy stuff that happens in Ewoks when they meet the sun god, who has a face of a sun, and the moon god, who has a moon of a face, and the earth god, who has a picture of a flower. And you're like, what? That's ridiculous. Does that exist in the EU? And Joe said, no, this is told through the Ewoks' point of view, and it's kind of elaborated. Like, what if a race that hasn't seen outside civilization sees an
Is it like
airplane
what? Look,
suddenly.
what if a bunch of like how did savages interpret all of these things way back in the day? That's basically
Yeah.
what this is,
And
yeah.
that's basically what he's saying. So that's the thing. And yes, I hear in the Ewoks, we're the spirit creatures from the forest moon. I love that. And then they changed it in the second season, and I hate that one. I still hate it. But when I was rewatching the first season, I never skipped the intro because I love that. And then during the second season, I listened to that intro once and went, we're skipping that from now on. I can't listen to that crap. But they were fun for me, but they are old and dated, so I don't know if it's worth tracking down, but they are fun. The next one, the Ewok movies. There was Ewoks Battle for Endor, and then Ewok. Well, back in the day, it was called Ewoks Big Adventure. The Ewok Adventure was what it was called, and then they changed it when it went on video to call it Caravan of Courage.
Yeah.
But it was called the Ewok Adventure, and according to it was supposed to be a trilogy. But they didn't make any more after that. They were ABC movies, the little Sunday afternoon movies they brought for the whole family. George wanted to make more money. Make more Ewok movies. And so he said, yeah, let's sell some right. Let's squeeze as much as we can. Because he thought, now that Return of the Jedi is out, the money train is about to quit. So let's try to squeeze out a little bit more juice out of the Ewoks. And so that's why the Ewoks went a little bit further in the 80s. Because they were designed to sell toys to kids.
Wasn't one of the movies was the first appearance of the Dathomiri witches, right?
Yes. Later on, it was retconned that was a Dathomir witch, the second movie, which made perfect sense. And her transformative ring, this is my connection, in the Ewoks cartoon, there's a guy called the Totem Master. He has a very similar ring that can transform people into totems that he'll just sell later on. So I said, hey, so Sherelle, the Dathomir witch that lives there, probably stole the ring, maybe killed him for it, and now she has the transform ring, and she wants to transform into this bird. But really, in reality, they just said magic, force magic, But either way, I enjoy those movies. They did come out on DVD years ago. And I bought them the moment they came out, even though I already had like burned copies by then. By then, all of the conventions, you could buy any of this stuff, burn DVDs and stuff like that. But I got an official DVD of it. Still have it today. I think this is also streaming, or was for a time too, on Disney Plus. But the Ewok movies, in my opinion, were much better. They were fun. Yes, they're based for kids. They're totally based for kids. But they do have some adventure in it. And, I don't know if it was, I'm trying to think. Gorax was mentioned in the Jedi Academy trilogy as Kip Durran is flying back to Endor to look through the ashes of Darth Vader's pyre. He sees a Gorax marching through the woods. I don't know if there's any other connections. Maybe someone else can tell me. Obviously, Sindel Tatwani was mentioned at the end of a chapter in Black Fleet Crisis, and that was just kind of a throwaway line, but not as many connections. To the Ewok movies, there may be a few connections. Wisties were in the first movie. They're in the second movie. If you don't know, the second movie starts off super dark. The entire family that you followed in the first movie die in the first 5 minutes of the second film. And it's awesome because when I saw it, I was like, because Mace was every kid's dream. It was a boy living the life in Star Wars, hanging out with Ewoks. And if you were a kid in the 80s, that's what you wanted to do too. So Mace was cool. And now I see, because when the movie was about to premiere, they show commercials all the time. And we sat around the TV to watch the premiere of Ewoks Battle for Endor. I remember this. I was pumped. My dad hit record on the beta system, not VHS. It was beta back then. And so we sat there and we watched it. And I saw Mace Windu die, and I went, I could not believe they killed everyone off besides Sindel. I was like, what just happened? And it's kind of wild. But what happened is George Lucas had read Heidi to his younger daughter, and he said, hey, I got an idea. Why don't we kill off the family? Make it like a Heidi in space and Star Wars and to Star Wars. And so they did it. And but the thing that killed, what's his name? Eric The guy, Eric Walker, the guy who played Mace Tetwani, he wasn't told until he showed up the first day of filming and got the new script and saw that his character was just going to die.
They're like, hey, we only need you for 2 days, bud. That's all the pay you get.
Yeah,
so.
That's it. That's all we got. And shoot, probably one day he's just talking to Sindel and then shooting and then looking at his life monitor and shooting again. Then he dies off screen. And I was like, oh my gosh. But he said he cried in his trailer. He was because he thought, he was so happy to be coming back with it because the Ewoks were all the same. It was like his family, he said, coming back and seeing everyone. And then he walked in his trailer. They talked to him about the new script and he cried.
The idea that anyone had that level of attachment to the Ewok movies.
Well, as a kid, I can see that. Like, you're thinking your movie career is going to take off.
Yeah, you're in Star Wars. Yeah.
And he told me, because I talked to him, he said no one knew how popular Star Wars was going to be back then, because they said, kid, when you finish this movie, you're going to be famous for the next 10 years. He said, yet I'm still getting calls to appear at conventions. So I'm not the most famous, but people will remember my name for 10 years is what the crew guy told me. And people still remember my name today. He said, so I think that's kind of cool. He's someone who's not sour, that his movie career, like I think he did one more TV movie for ABC. And then after that, his career just kind of floundered and he walked away from Hollywood like a lot of child actors do and stuff. But, at the same time,
he escaped relatively unscathed, which is more than you can say for a lot of actors who grow up in that limelight.
Oh, yeah. He got off easy. But the thing is, though, that he said it was fun because they were basically right there on Skywalker Ranch is where they filmed it in George's backyard. And so, it was a lot of fun. George was there on the set every day. George even directed a few scenes, according to Eric Walker, and a few other people. He helped do a few reshoots. Because he had the time, he had nothing to do. He needed to take a break from counting his money, and he came out there and said, "Sure, I'll work a few scenes. I don't care. Can I just wear
out of his Scrooge McDuck pile of money?"
Yeah. He was doing the backstroke through gold coins and said, "Yeah, I'll do."
He was more svelte back in those days, Yeah, he had that swimmer's build back then.
Yeah, exactly. He's a little bit more trimmer back then. Now I know you've seen them, but when was the first time you saw the Ewok movies?
I think honestly it was the first time, like really, really young. And
you saw it when it first came out?
No.
Okay.
Really, really young. Because I was born in '88, so really, really young. And again, I think it was a library pickup from like my mom. You're like, hey, look, that's Star Wars. And I did not really understand anything that was going on. Do you know what I mean? I really didn't get it. I was expecting something completely different than
where are the Jedi and Stormtroopers?
Yeah, yes, exactly. So I'd say I was rather disappointed as a kid. But,
well, okay. Got a super chat here. Happy holidays, Matt. Go get yourself a ghost or a Tatooine ghost. Hardy har har. Thank you, Travis. Travis, you got that haircut I see. What's the haircut called that they buzz the sides and they keep the top? What's that called?
Like a bowl cut? What do you mean?
Is that what it is? Yeah, no, people have these where they buzz the side of their heads, but then they keep the top like regular hairstyle. One of my buddies
I have? Like, what do you mean?
I guess. I mean, but it's like cut pretty close to the scalp. It's like a crew cut on the sides. I don't know, Travis. You may not have that at all. It just looks like your hair is super short on the sides and then long. And it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask my barber for a new look. She cut my hair the last time. I was like, what's all that gray hair on the floor? Did you get it all?
I have one singular gray hair. You can't see it because of the light on the camera. I have one singular gray hair. I see it every morning. I'm not going to pull it. I just leave it.
I got my Reed Richards going here and a little bit here.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah. My silver streak. It's funny because when my hair was long, you couldn't see it. And when I cut my hair for the first time after the pandemic, my sister goes, you have gray hair. I said, I've always had gray hair. Just the other hair just kind of grew over it. So going gray on the temples, but that's fine. That's what it works.
I'd rather it go gray than it fall out. That's kind of I'm cool with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my dad's a silver-headed fox, but he ain't bald. So
I'm prepared.
My life looks good.
I'm prepared for either option, So we'll see.
Yeah.
Despite my massive forehead, my hairline's been the same since I was in high school. That's always how big my freaking forehead's been.
That's great. That's awesome. All right. So thank you, Travis. I appreciate that. Not just one ghost, but two ghosts, because they're 2 for $5.50. So there you go. Or if you're like me, I go to there's this weight supplemental place, vitamin supplemental place, and they give all their ghost drinks for like $1.40 or something. $1.50 is a really good deal. They do it once a month, and I pick up it's 2 cases of what's that? 15 each? No, it's gonna be 12 each. So it's $1.50 a can because it comes out to like $40 or something. So anyway, but thank you for that. So there you go. Ewok movies, good times, great oldies. But folks, it is the holidays. Yeah. And what holiday would not be right without a discussion about the Star Wars holiday special? The special that I first saw back in the late 90s, because bootleg VHS copies were going for sale. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, it has a timer. Why did I get a timer on here for? Anyway, it's going to go away in 10 seconds. I'm not going to change that to that. But the Star Wars Holiday Special, when we first got the DVD or the VHS, we popped it in. It did have the commercials on it, which is why South Park did the most random joke ever. If no one knows this, there is a South Park Christmas episode where they have this odd tonight fighting the Frizzies tonight, whatever. And then at the end of the episode, you have these Frizzies, these little Frizzy, it looks like messed up snowflakes fighting each other in a ring. And I bet 99% of South Park fans had no idea what the joke is. The joke was from that VHS copy.
Because everyone had bootleg where they recorded the commercial. Yeah.
Yes. Because a guy and the local weatherman goes, tonight, fighting the Frizzies tonight. Is what, and you're like, fighting the Frizzies? What?
The holiday special, look, as somebody that had no idea what the heck this was or no understanding of when the timeline happened, when you look back on it and you think of the fact that they got all these people to do this, that you got Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and all these people, it seems so crazy looking back at it 40 years later. But I mean, thinking of it when it happened and Star Wars just starts blowing up and these specials, these musicals, they were all the rage back then. They just were. So it probably wasn't that tough to get them to do it. Like the idea of Harrison Ford, as we know him now, agreeing to do that is so funny. But
oh yeah, absolutely.
I have a love for the holiday special in a way. But holy crap, is it the fact that this thing ever made it out to the fact that we spend so much time cooking in it, and it's ridiculous.
Someone has a stir, whip, stir.
It's so ridiculous that it ever happened. Yet I'm mad that there was such an intent to erase it from the record. You did it, own it, be proud of it, and let people laugh at it.
Yeah, own it, but then let it pass. It's funny because a friend of mine just recently watched this for the first time, and she sent me, because she knows I like Star Wars, but she didn't know that I knew everything about it. And she sent me a video of her, and she went, Matt, I got to show you this. And she shows it's Lumpy as he's trying to balance on the little gate or fence of the treehouse. She went, what is this? I've never seen this before. Did you know about this? And I was like, yes, I knew about this. Hey, Rhino, you have a link if you want to come. Raging Rhino. That's who I said Lethal Lightning early. It's Raging Rhino is who I talked to. Raging Rhino needs to come on. Well, come on and bring it. Rhino, get on here. You have the link. I emailed you it. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's Raging Rhino I was talking to the other day. Goodness gracious, my brain is gone. If you don't know, if you hear kids yelling in the background, that my kids got home at this a little while ago. But anyway, the Star Wars holiday special is what we're talking about here. She had just seen it. I was like, yeah, and it's just messed up. But the first time I watched it, we were watching all this like, what? Like, you're supposed to be like, oh, look at this treasure that we've never seen before. It's a Christmas special, and it should have been somewhat good. And people who say, oh, well, the cartoon was really good. I'll be honest, the cartoon's meh. The only reason you think the cartoon was good is because the whole show is crap.
Yeah, the rest of it's so bad. I mean,
Yeah.
look, did you see Boba Fett, which is cool, right? There's a coolness aspect to it that we get to see Boba Fett save Luke and all this stuff. But yeah, what I think is the funniest is that even with what it was, you still get some of these characters like Lumpy who pop back up from time to time, who are utilized in the plot, who continue to have, life after this, relatively cringe entry into the Star Wars universe.
Lamparo Ichnecook was mentioned in Black Fleet Crisis. He's in the Chewbacca comic book. One of the issues is him telling the story of his son after Chewbacca died. Mala makes a few appearances and mentions in there too.
I mean, I like Chewie. Chewie has an interesting life, right? He's got this family, he's got this wife and stuff. He just goes on these adventures with Han, and he's really a slave, but he's cool with it. Like, he wanted to be a slave to Han. So I think that there's a story to be told somewhere about just what a nagging bitch Mala probably was, and that's why Chewbacca was just willing to say, "Screw my wife, screw my family. I'm running around with the smuggler." Like, well, I'm good with doing that.
Yeah, when he came in to get a little Wookiee and then leave, right? He gets his Wookiee rocks off, and he goes, "Oh, Mala." Mala's like, "Oh, hey, you know what we should do? We should go out and watch the moon rise over the." Oh, Mala, that is Han on the comlink. I got to take this, honey. I'm so sorry. Love you. Life debt. I'm so sorry. Life debt.
Actually, one of the more interesting ones, if we're talking about Chewbacca and his family, is in the aftermath of Chewie's death, when they're having the funeral and everything. And it's obviously a tough moment for everybody. And Han's torn up and Anakin's torn up. And you see, is it Lumpy who's trying to assume the life debt? Right?
Yes.
Because it was a shocker to Han because he thought it was a life debt and it was just Chewbacca's life, but no, it's over his life. And so you had his son trying to take on that, and Han was not ready to deal with that stuff.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. That was a good scene too, and it made sense. He didn't know it was for his life. There we go. I fixed it now. But Akmeda, who is B. Author's character, was also mentioned at the end of one of the, I think it was Fate of the Jedi. It may have been Legacy of the Force. I'm leaning toward Legacy of the Force now, but she gets mentioned in a chapter. I don't know if there's other mentions of the holiday special outside of those characters, even though it would have been fun to, mention a few of the vendors or whatnot. But it was run by a bunch of people who did, like, back in the day in 70s TV, folks, if you don't know, is a bunch of variety shows, the dancing, the singing, the juggling act, which is why that whole circus act is in there. Because, we got to do circus. Because in the 70s, you did a little juggling act. You did a little acrobats.
That's what I mean. Like, to look back at it now, 40 years later, it's so wild. But that was just a big thing back then. And you know what? I have no idea what happened when that thing aired. I bet a bunch of people tuned in. I bet it got insane ratings. Yeah,
I bet it did too. I bet there were some people who came away thinking, "Oh, that was fun."
Yeah.
But
not Harrison Ford. I don't think he did.
I don't think Harrison Ford was happy to be there, but oh well. He maybe took his money and ran.
Has he ever been happy to be anywhere in his entire life? No.
Which
I respect.
Man. He's a great. I respect the honesty. Like, still during Celebration, he goes, "Are you excited about the new Han Solo movie?" And he goes, "No." And I just thought that was just
he was totally high. You could tell. He may always be.
He may have. That was been his secret the whole time. Mark Hamill, Dollface. He has so much makeup caked on him. That's because he had just recently gotten to the wreck, and they had to hide it. And the first time I saw it, I thought, "That's not Mark Hamill." It was so odd to see Mark Hamill look like that. I said immediately, "Oh, they must have got an actor and put a lot of makeup on him to make him look like Mark Hamill." That's what I originally thought when I first saw it as in college. Because I just said, "That's not Mark. That can't be Mark Hamill. It doesn't look like Mark Hamill. It looks weird. Why does his face look weird?" But that was the reason why. And Carrie Fisher requested a song. Yeah, she requested to sing. This is the crazy thing. You think she'd be like, "Yeah, guys, they They made me sing, and um, I didn't want to do that. No, she requested that. She was, yeah, really, maybe not. Maybe she wasn't embarrassed. Maybe she's like, yeah, this is going to be great for my career. I can't remember what else. Oh, B. Arthur had said that she didn't even know she was in a Star Wars movie. I call baloney on that. I think every actor was so happy to sign on to something called Star Wars because Star Wars was all the hotness, even in 1978, a year after the movie had come out. So you can't tell me that Harvey Korman and Art Carney and B. Arthur were not clamoring with their agents to get them on this little show because they thought it propelled their career. So I think B. Arthur's lying and saying, yeah, I didn't know. My agent just signed me up for it. Whatever. You knew what you were doing. You were hoping you'd be, you'd bring in riches. And it was just horrendous. And no one takes credit for making the decisions. People blame George. People blame these people. I mean, have you seen any of these documentaries on it?
Not really. I don't know, really too interested to check it out, but I've heard people talk about them.
Yeah. So, by the way, I believe Meg is watching right now. She just got in. Meg, you can still come on if you want.
Like end the stream immediately, but you can still come on.
We'll end the stream. The moment Meg signs in is the moment we cut. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, just Meg just texted me back, so she's back, but she just got back in. Busy girl. But I have not seen the Star Wars holidays before rewatching it this year. I had not seen it, and I think 12 years. I asked my nephew. I watched it with my nephew when he was a kid. I said, "How old were you?" He said, "I think I was 10." He's 22 now, but he said he could have been 8. He doesn't remember. So 12 or 14 years had gone by since I had last watched Holiday Special, and when I had it, I did try to watch it with friends to make fun of it. Like, hey guys, let's watch this, our holiday tradition. Let's watch and make fun of the Holiday Special. But I think after like the second or third year in a row, I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is awful. And returning back to it for my episode of Rewatch, I thought, okay, it's been a few years. I can probably appreciate simpler things now, or maybe enjoy it a little bit more. The thing that kills me is the musical acts, except for B. Arthur. I like her song. That was the only one that was enjoyable. But even Jefferson Starship, they sing this like 8-minute song with like riffing. They didn't let them stop because they needed to pad time. So they let them just riff forever for like 2 whole minutes, just guitar, solo drums, just because they were padding for time on this. The jugglers and acrobats have this little like this electric, beat thing that which makes it annoying. It's like an alarm clock that you can't shut up. And they just keep doing all these little, tumblers doing this. And like I said, again, in the 70s, maybe they would have enjoyed that. And they're wearing stuff that people like in Whoville would wear too. It's like the weirdest costumes in the world. And
the more you think about it, the crazier it is that we got Star Wars, period. Like, as a thing, that it all came together, that enough people gave George a chance, that the movie got edited the way that it did, that it got made the way that it did, that it got put out, and it just blew the hell up. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's wild how that happened. Now, they didn't do anything since then. They did, I think in the 80s or whatnot, they did come out with an album, Christmas album that, what's his face?
They still,
Anthony Daniels was on.
Life Day still continued on, and even in Star Wars, the Old Republic, the MMO, they had Life Day events and things like that around the holidays. And even now in current Disney Star Wars, they sell like Chewbacca's with the red robe on them during this time of the year.
Oh, do they?
They do. It has.
I didn't even know that.
And I respect that. I respect that they got the cringiness going and kind of keep the joke going and make it that a thing. I do respect that.
Well, that good for them. Good for them. I didn't know they're still selling that stuff. I know that they come out with the holiday action figure or toy this year. I believe, someone can correct me in the comments, I believe it's an Ewok, and I think I got a few people hitting me up and saying, do I want it? And I mean, yeah, Christmas style Ewok. Why not? I used to get I got the Jawas with the presents. I used to buy whatever the holiday toy was that year. They created the C-3PO and R2-D2 cover from the old Christmas in the Stars, which, by the way, Christmas in the Stars, I have the album, the record album, and I do play it at Christmas every year. My wife loves We Wish You, R2-D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. So that's fun. And by the way, the first ever recording of a young John Bon Jovi, who was basically the janitor at this recording studio, his uncle's recording studio. And they said, "Hey, kid, you want to sing this track?" He said, "Sure," because he had a nice voice. Oh, we got it. Is this it? No.
I think they're selling that at Disney right now.
No.
They are,
Is that
yeah.
Lumpy? Or is
I
that
think it's supposed to be. I think it's
Chewbacca?
supposed to be Chewbacca. But
Oh
and even
my
a couple years
gosh.
ago, they
Wow.
even a couple years ago, they did put out a vintage
they
collection. Yeah.
No, I didn't
Uh-huh.
even know this.
Yeah, this was
Is-
like a couple years ago. I think they put this out.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I never realized it. Did they make anyone else? Just Chewbacca?
Chewbacca's the only one I'm aware of, but
Okay. I mean, that's pretty impressive that that the holiday special got an official one. Oh, the other action figure I have is Yoda as Santa Claus with a sack of toys from the Star Wars Adventure Journal 8 cover.
it kind of makes sense when you think about it from the perspective of Disney. Star Wars has basically done everything they can. Anything that George would ever have not wanted, they have done. So the idea that they would continue to push Life Day things when he wanted to bury it as much as he could does make sense. But like I kind of respect it. Like it's part of Star Wars history. And if people want to get a Chewbacca with a Life Day shirt, then do it.
I mean, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, for kicks and giggles, yeah, I'd probably get that too. If I would have seen that at like an Ollie's or secondhand store, liquidating store, yeah, I'm buying that. I'm buying that toy. It's a Chewbacca holiday special toy. I don't know who said this is a good idea. Let's get it. Obviously, they know the inside joke because it's not, you can't officially stream it or buy it anywhere. It's all bootleg is where you're going to watch this or see this. So, but obviously, no, there's if you know, right? So here's the Chewbacca Life Day special. I know they celebrated Life Day. Can you buy one of the little light balls at Disney World? Goodness gracious. But you can buy a robe. I did not know this. This is kind of crazy. This is new. But I mean, if it sells, and oddly enough, this came out the week before Thanksgiving. It premiered before Thanksgiving. So in a way, some people are saying, well, does that mean Thanksgiving is Life Day, not Christmas? I'm very positive on that. But, and why did all the Wookiees walk into that dark room at the end? Because they ran out of money on their budget. So they just filmed them in an empty lot and put like little lights up. That's the truth. They ran out of money on their cheap little shoestring budget. They'd blown it all with these special guests and arts and whatnot and had to film on an empty set piece for the end.
Ridiculous.
So there you go. The great and powerful Star Wars holiday special. If you're asking when, Matt, will you watch it again? Probably another 15 years.
Give it another dozen years or so.
If that. I mean, maybe when my girls get older and if they like Star Wars enough, they say, Dad, what is this we hear speak of? A Star Wars holiday special? Maybe I'll say, well, kids, you've been really bad today. Yeah, I hate you enough. Let's watch it. So that's probably what I do is just pop it in. And I guarantee you they'll all walk away within the first 30 minutes. That even the dumbest kid would not be able to keep their interest. I bet anything, if I let my little 3-year-old turn on right now and they love TV, they would get bored, get up and walk out. I should set a timer to see how long it lasts. and if I had the desire to turn on the holiday special, I'd test that out. But I bet within 20 minutes they'd all be gone. It would not be a big thing. The Wookiees growling and barking at each other for like what, 20 minutes? What were you thinking? But that was a directive from George. That is just crazy. It's crazy the stuff you hear about this. So watch the documentaries about this show.
It's like Disturbance in the Force or something. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Yeah.
And watch that. It's way more entertaining than the movie. But to be fair, once you watch that, because I saw that and I said, because during rewatch, I said, am I going to watch the holiday special too? I mean, I have to. And watching that documentary, I was like, I kind of want to see it now. And then I regret it. So there you go. All right, folks, that's it for now. We, have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We're going to see it the first of the year here. Thank you, my friend, for being with me for so many years.
No, it's crazy.
Thank you, Geeks Addict, for just not even for ghosting me. At least Meg had the decency to say, "Hey, I just got in, but I see you have 9 minutes left, so I'm Splitsville." Merry Christmas, everyone. Please give Ryan all the holiday wishes.
I can use them. I could use them.
Yeah,
So
you
yeah.
could use some holiday wishes there, folks. And we will see you next time on A More Civilized Age. Take care.